Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, May the 6th, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass. I did not take any notes to prepare for tonight's show. It's just overwhelming sometimes with the evil, the corruption, the lies, the deceit, the manipulation being orchestrated by an occult of just evil creatures posing as public servants of the United States government. Uh, there's so much information to share, so many stories going on that are just being completely lied about to our faces. And, my whole life, that's always been a pet peeve or a trigger. I don't know. I just hate being lied to. And it's not so much what people lie about, because I could care less, to be honest. What upsets me when people lie to me is they insult my intelligence. I really hate having my intelligence insulted. And when people lie to you, it's as if they think you're stupid and you're going to believe it. And the way we're being lied to is just abhorrent, despicable, and childish and evil. So we're going to review today is 1,700 days since my son was kidnapped by a serial child killer, serial child rapist, and serial child sex trafficker, a state judge in Riverside County, California, in the city of Marietta, named Kelly L. Hansen, who is the sole reason I have to work all day, which I went to work today, still got pain on me, which is why I have to work all day, go to the gym twice a day now. I'm up to 2 a days, once before work, once after work, and then come home and sit in front of a camera and make YouTube videos, and I have to start a podcast in the United States of America because trusted elected public officials rape, murder, and sell children and lie about it. Whether it's the Einstein files, whether it's state judges from Kentucky to California, whether it's CPS, really doesn't matter, and it's despicable, it's evil. So we're going to read. First, I'm going to pay homage to the demonic creature who's responsible for these YouTube videos, that man right there, Kelly L. Hansen. Thousands of children kidnapped, tortured, raped, murdered, and sold over the course of his 17-year career, using his position as a state judge to get near children, as well as use the immunity of a state judge to do whatever he wants to children and not pay any type of consequences or have any type of accountability. Crimes against humanity by state judges in the United States of America, and they are deemed to have immunity. So we're going to read, I'm going to Google, some of you might be like, oh, he didn't kidnap your kid. We're going to read the penal code. It's Penal Code 278 of California state law. We're going to read the court transcripts verbatim of what serial child rapist and murderer Kelly L. Hansen had to say. And I will show photos of the physical injuries my 7-year-old son endured so Kelly Hansen could stick his dick in my 7-year-old son. So first, let's start with California Penal Code 278. You are more than welcome to Google that. It's right there. Under California Penal Code Section 278 PC, it is illegal to maliciously remove a child from his or her parent or legal guardian, similar to kidnapping under Penal Code Section 20C PC. Child abduction is considered a crime against the parent, while kidnapping is considered a crime against the child. So, there's the legal criminal code and statute, which was violated. This right here is a contusion on the upper lip of my son at 7 years old, while Kelly L. Hansen forced his dick into my son's mouth until it was bruised. That's where we're at in the United States of America. This is what the law enforcement, and we can read a couple of other headlines from Riverside County. You can look right here. There's tons of them. I've got tons of these headlines. Riverside woman blames foster care system for torture death of brother she never knew. She probably never knew him because, they kidnap children and sell children. Here's another one. This is how you know these people are satanic, demonic creatures. Social workers placed child rapist in California foster homes without warning parents. And he raped several children. That's right. That's what our fine public servants in the United States of America do to children and parents. So let's read the judge's verbatim. I had the court transcripts on here as well. And we'll also talk about a lawyer who defends this. So here is the court transcript that I have. I have all this information saved. I've printed out hard copies. I've distributed this across the country through email, hard copies to law enforcement, intelligence agencies, politicians, only to be laughed at, mocked, ridiculed, placed on 4 mental health holds, called crazy, be assaulted 3 times by the FBI. 3 physical assaults by the FBI. Because they seem to think it's okay for grown men to stick dicks in 7-year-old boys. Welcome to America in 2026. So this is what Kelly L. Hansen said on Thursday, September 9th of 2021, the day he kidnapped my son. I'm going to take the fact that he says, meaning me, quote, I'm not going to allow my kid to be seen by CPS, and that he was trying to coach his son in the hallway to tell the officer that this is all a big lie. It is part of the reason why I'm detaining today. The judge detained personally because of something I said. So, and then the judge stuck his dick in my son not long after that. So because I cared enough about my son to try to protect him from the United States government, the United States government took it as a personal challenge and kidnapped my son, stuck their dick in my son's mouth until his upper lip was bruised. And I haven't seen or heard from my child since 2021, and I'm told my son is dead by United States Capitol Police Intelligence in Washington, D.C. That's right, 2024. Mr. Bass, your son is dead. Stop calling. And I have yet to get my child's teeth, toenails, fingernails, or hair back from the United States government as they slaughter innocent children and lie about it. So that's where we're at as a nation, as a society. That's what our fine, trusted, elected public officials do on our tax dollars. That's right. That's what we pay for. That's what I go to work every day and paint and mask and crawl up and down ladders all over roofs and on my knees all day long. So I can pay exorbitant amount of taxes to barely afford to survive, so my government can steal my child, stick a dick in him, and laugh at me about it. God bless America, huh? What a nation. Well, we're going to move on to Candace Owens. I watched her show today, as I do nearly every day. And she's being sued by so many people, it's ridiculous. Brian Harpool, the French president, the Macrons. I believe she's got some more lawsuits. I'm not sure. There's so many it's hard to keep track of. And basically all Candace Owens does is tell the truth and try to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk. And that seems to be a problem for a lot of people. I don't know why a murder wanting to be solved of a public figure would be such a big deal for the United States government. Candace Owens has suffered threats to her life. She has suffered threats to her career, attacks on her career. She has tried to be deplatformed. I'm surprised they haven't debanked her yet. I would assume that's going to come. Like they did Nick Fuentes and many others. Did me, couldn't use Western Union, wasn't allowed to work for 3 years, had to live in a car for 3 years, and falsified my background. Put, I believe it was 8 felonies and 5 years on my background, just littered my background with all types of fabricated charges to make me look like some crazed maniac. That's their defense to sticking dicks in children, is make everyone look crazy and delusional and psychotic and call them liars. And, then they kidnap you, put you on a mental health hold, and try to force drugs into your body, despite the whole my body, my choice is okay for women to murder children in the womb. That's perfectly acceptable. My body, my choice, perfectly acceptable for abortion. My body, my choice when it comes to taking psychotropic drugs by Pfizer or Big Pharma, not acceptable. No, we can't have that. There's no my body, my choice when it comes to Big Pharma. Murdering children, your body, your choice. This Orwellian wet dream we are living in just keeps getting worse and worse every single day. If it wasn't for my faith in God and my routine has rescued me. And I encourage anyone who is watching this, anyone who shares this, develop a healthy routine for when things go wrong so you don't go with them. And remember that motto. When things go wrong, don't go with them. Because that's what they want you to do. They want to drive you into drugs and alcohol. They want to drive you into homelessness. They want to drive you mad. That is their whole shtick. I don't know what you'd call it. They enjoy like destroying lives, and by they I mean the intelligence agencies, law enforcement, politicians, all of these just scumbags, just domestic terrorists. That's what they are. They are domestic terrorists according to the laws of the Constitution, which this right here. This is the law of the United States of America. This little book right here contains the laws of the United States of America. But they seem to think the laws are determined by pedophiles in suits and ties, whores in dresses, people who eat children, cannibals, drug addicts, alcoholics, pill heads, coke heads. They seem to think they're the law, not the Constitution. APAC might be the law. I think APAC has a big influence on our laws. Good old Lindsey Graham. We got Fox News host Pete Hegseth. He's got a impact on our law and our nation. Good thing we got a Fox News host as Secretary of Defense. That's working out really well for our nation, or for our sovereignty, for our security. So I wanted to share all of that with you. Like I said, there's so much news to share. Let me get back to my story, because we're going to get into Stephen Larson. This man right here, I would encourage everyone to stay as far away from this scumbag as possible. Stephen G. Larson of Larson LLP. You see, Stephen Larson owns 3 law firms. He's a retired federal judge. He's actually tried cases, in one case, I believe, in front of the Supreme Court. And he owns a law firm in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and I believe his third one's in London. I know it's in the UK. And he was brought in to investigate when my son was kidnapped. I thought he was there on my behalf to put a stop to the 17-year career child sexual predator, murderer, rapist, Kelly L. Hansen. And Stephen G. Larson went into Riverside County. He interviewed over 300 CPS workers. I talked to Yvonne, his personal assistant, and I talked to her several times throughout the course of his investigation in 2022, and you can Google that he investigated. It's public information. And Yvonne said it was a huge mess. Her exact words was, "Mr. Bass, it is a big mess." That was her exact words. And I said, "Yvonne, I want my son back." And she even said one day, she was Stephen talking to Mr. Larson and was imploring him to do something about my son. Well, Stephen G. Larson decided to take $1 million, ask some questions to some people, And he had to take Kelly L. Hansen to court to get his records over his 17-year career of kidnapping, raping, torturing, murdering, and selling children. Because Kelly L. Hansen refused to turn over his records because he knew what those records would show. All of his victims, the children who are gone, sold, trafficked. And he cited, Kelly L. Hansen, I'm referring to, cited the confidentiality laws pertaining to minors, which is one of the laws used in a series of laws that are designed to work together to ensure the world's largest child sex trafficking organization on planet Earth, the United States government, continues to operate the human trafficking of American children with immunity. So, Stephen G. Larson of Larson LLP took Kelly L. Hansen, state judge from Marietta, California, in Riverside, took him to court and forced him to turn over his records. And it was at that moment that they realized they can't clean this up. There's too many victims. They're gone. A lot of the victims come from poor families, vulnerable people, people who might be addicted to drugs or alcohol or pharmaceuticals, some of them probably homeless. And Stephen G. Larson decided at that moment that it would be better to just take $1 million from Riverside County and walk away and do absolutely nothing than to stand up for innocent children and hold a 17-year career child predator accountable. So Riverside County paid Stephen G. Larson $1 million. I believe it was $983,000 if you want to be exact. Paid his law firm $983,000 for about a 3 or 4 month investigation. It's a pretty good chunk of money for just sitting down asking some questions. And nothing was done. It got swept under the rug, covered up. And that was when the FBI began retaliating against me, assaulting me in my gym at Crunch Fitness in Pacific Beach, California. 2 assaults there. 1 at Casa de Reyes restaurant in San Diego, California. Assaulted with a server tray jammed into my spine, not once but twice. That was when my car was stolen, 6 hours after I called 911 to report the violent sexual assault of my son that left the physical injuries that I showed you. That was October 7th of 2021 when I called 911 and reported the sexual assault. 6 hours later, my car was stolen. Blatantly connected. It's retaliation. That's what these people do. They just keep attacking you using the laws of America, using their positions of power and authority, and operating in covert style, or what would be the word I'm looking for? Undercover maybe methods. Claiming that good old qualified immunity and plausible deniability, those 2 magical terms, are what allows the United States government to conduct terrorism on U.S. citizens. Plausible deniability and qualified immunity. So basically, and I did file a complaint. I'll show you a picture. This was the 3rd or 4th complaint I filed with the California Bar Association or Judicial Board, as that's what I was instructed to do. Let me pull it up here. I believe that's it. Commission on Judicial Performance. This is the complaint that I filed again last night. I filed one hard copy on paper and mailed it in. I filed 2 or 3 of these. Date submitted 5/5 at 9:08 p.m. Entry number 14,597. And this is basically just what happened with my son, as well as all of the evidence. Not to mention let me go to my email and pull up the federal casework I send in every single day. I file for federal casework, and I've been doing it across the country. I did it with Kevin McCarthy when he was Speaker of the House. I've done it with Mike Johnson, Tim Burchett, Sarah Jacobs, Ro Khanna, Thomas Massey, Robert Garcia. I've done it with James Comer. I've done it with Corey Mills. Obviously, this was before I knew these people were all scumbags. I've done it with Eric Swalwell. But let me go to my inbox to show. Here we go. That's Rokana's reply. I send Rokana every single day. I send him federal casework. Thank you for requesting agency help through Congressman Rokana's website. This is a confirmation that we received your request. Our office will take approximately 5 business days from today to respond to you. Your request is very important to us, and we appreciate your patience and cooperation throughout this process. I don't have a case number here. I was looking for a case number. And I've been filling these out with Rokana since he came out against the Einstein files. As soon as I realized he was actually, at least I felt like he was trying to protect children and get to the truth and have some people held accountable, I began filing federal casework. Obviously, that's been several months. And I filed with federal casework every single day. And I send these YouTube video links to him. Every YouTube video I make, I copy the link, paste it, send it to Rokana, Thomas Massey, Robert Garcia. I send it to Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Tucker Carlson, Elizabeth Lane, who's a reporter. I send it to, what is her name, from the Miami Herald, Julie Brown, I believe. Let me check my email. We can go through and see these. Sent Bahala, Whitney Webb, Marjorie Taylor Greene, MSNBC, Elizabeth Lane, Tara Palmieri, Kyle Kalinske, Julie Brown, I believe. Yeah, Julie Brown. And just for documentation, Ryan of Drop Site News, Ben at Midas Touch, More Tips, Candace Owens. And just to verify all of this, these are my emails I send every day. Every day. And I'd like to remind everybody that every video I make, every request for federal casework, 4 mental health holds, 3 assaults, 3 years living in a car, falsified background, couldn't work for 3 years, termination of Western Union access, termination of my mom's bank account, has gone on for 1,700 days, 1,700 days. All so Kelly Hansen could stick his dick in a 7-year-old boy, my son. That's it. That's it. All of this. So Kelly Hansen could stick his dick in my 7-year-old son. And the mental health holds have spanned 2 in California, 1 in Grand Junction, Colorado. When I was dropping off a request at Lauren Boebert's office, and Lauren Boebert's a scumbag. She's a whore. She sleeps with Kid Rock and supposed to be married to a pedophile. She's got so many problems. She's a cokehead, obviously. They're all cokeheads up there. But all of this, 3 physical assaults, 3 years in a car, termination of resources, termination of employment, all of this. So Kelly Hansen could stick his dick in my 7-year-old son. All of that. And we're going to go back and pay homage to the man. Let's give this man the respect and attention he deserves. He wants to be famous. He likes attention. He loves sticking his dick in 7-year-old boys. That's him. Kelly L. Hansen. State judge. That's why I'm banned from True Social. That's why I'm banned from Twitter. I've been blocked from all of my public servants' phone numbers in the White House, at Congress. Everybody from Tim Scott to Byron Donalds to Tim Burchett to Anna Paulina Luna, Ron DeSantis, all of these people told me nobody can do anything. Stop calling. Stop calling. Capitol Police Intelligence said your son's dead. Stop calling. Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, 3rd District said Donald Trump ate your son. That's where we're at. That all of this so a man could stick his dick in my son. And we're going to show some pictures of my son. I miss him dearly. I would love to just lay him to rest and move on with my life. I would love to be able to just have a normal life in the United States of America, go to work, maybe have a cookout, maybe go camping, do some fishing, just be normal. Just, not have to come home from work, do research, and do all the things I do. There's my son. Haven't seen or heard from him since 2021. So there's one picture. We'll go through some more. We'll show some pictures. This is one of the last days I saw my son. Yeah, we used to play basketball every day. We used to ride horses. We went camping. We went fishing. We used to go to the ocean and swim at the ocean. Play baseball, football. We'd play at the parks. Went to church. I even took him to the gym with me a few times. This is when he was a kid. This is me and my son. That was in Pennsylvania. Let's see what else we have. This is that's in New York City. You see he's got his little jet shirt on. So we're gonna scroll through some pictures. This is what the United States government deems sex toys and financial commodity. These are nothing but things to put their dicks in and things to sell for money. That's how they look at children like this. It's what they put their dicks in and what they use to make money. This is in San Diego at Pacific Beach, or at La Jolla, I'm sorry. At La Jolla, me and my son. I mean, I could go on. This was him at Christmas. You know, that was back when the United States of America was free. This is me and my son. We used to work out together. We used to do push-ups and run and ride bicycles. We used to go hiking. My son loved hiking in the woods. Parkour, he used to call it. We'd jump all over the big rocks like this. And he would say, hardcore parkour, Daddy. Hardcore parkour. That was in Las Vegas at the aquarium. This is what we used to do. We used to ride my Harley together. That was back when I had a Harley. He loved riding on my Harley with me. This was at the Bronx Zoo when we lived in New York City. He was born in New York City. That was his day at the Bronx Zoo. You can see his hair here. I used to put it in a little samurai bun. That was in Pennsylvania. We used to call him a little samurai. Yeah, it was when his little milk mustache, his little milk beard. Yeah, but I live in the United States of America. I'm not allowed to hug my child or see my child because my taxpayer-funded public servants stick dicks in my child and try to sell my child or murder my child. So I don't get to see or hear from him ever again because I live in America. That's me and my son. That was in California. And the government knows how much I love my son, and that's why they do this. That was another picture from the Bronx Zoo. I used to call him Two Teeth. At this point in his life, I used to call him Two Teeth because he only had 2 teeth on the bottom. Yeah. And, you know, there's a picture. This pretty much sums up everything right here. That was us hiking. My everything, and he was my everything. He was, but, you know, I live in the United States of America, and I'm not allowed to hug my child or speak to my child or see my child because a state judge stuck his dick in my 7-year-old son. And that's been advocated for by law enforcement halfway across the country. So it is 1,700 days of this nonsense. 3 states. 1,318 miles, I believe. 1,318 miles. 1,700 days, 3 states. Hundreds of thousands of phone calls, hundreds of thousands of emails. Complaints to judicial boards, contacts to attorneys and law firms across the country, Michael Popak, Stephen Larson. I've called so many attorneys. And I'm called crazy. I am mocked, I am ridiculed, I'm laughed at. I've had Capitol Police Intelligence laugh at me so many times, make jokes at my expense. They used to call me at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning just to retaliate against me. 4 mental health holds, 2 in California, 1 in Colorado, 1 in Oklahoma. All so a grown man could stick his dick in my 7-year-old son. That's where we are. That's where we're at. And that's why I got to come home from work every day, make these silly YouTube videos and tell the truth against a whole satanic occult of demons that stick dicks in children, sell children, torture children, eat children. That's right, cannibalism, making some fresh jerky out of the flesh of babies. That's what we're doing in America, and everybody knows it. Iran's making Lego videos about it. Everyone knows. The whole world knows. And I find it ironic that other countries are punishing these so-called leaders, stripping them of royal titles, forcing them into resignations. Actually, some of them are being investigated or prosecuted, but not here in America. Not here in America. There's no consequences for pedophiles. None whatsoever. So, we're at the 30-minute mark. I'm not sure what tomorrow's show is going to be about. I just take each day as it comes. Like I said, I've gone back up to 2-a-days at the gym. Back to work. Thank God for that. Thank God for a good company that has empathy, compassion, and intelligence to see the truth for what it is and not agree to participate in evil. And I'm grateful for a lot of things. I stay grateful every day, and I take every day as it comes. And we're going to close, as always, with a Bible verse of Ephesians 6, and we'll start at 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the full armor of God so that you will be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil. Now, why would God tell you to put on armor? Armor's for warriors who are going to war. And this is a spiritual war we are in. Baron Coleman has said it. Candace Owens has said it. Tucker Carlson. So many people sees it for what it is. It's a spiritual war. And it says right here in the Bible, Ephesians 6:10, put on the full armor of God. The full armor. Not just the helmet, not just the belt, not just the shield or the breastplate or the sandals. No. The full armor. Which means it's going to be an all-out war. And for 1,700 days, I have endured severe financial, psychological, emotional, and physical attacks by the United States government. Also, Kelly L. Hansen could stick his dick in my 7-year-old son. No more, no less. That's the extent of it. I'll read on. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers. Against the rulers. Against the powers. Against the world forces of this darkness. Against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the full armor of God so that you will be able to resist in the evil day, and having done everything, to stand firm. And that's what I do. I stand firm in the truth. I stand firm in my conviction of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I stand firm in advocating against anyone harming children in any way, shape, or form. And I want to make this abundantly clear to anyone and everyone. I did not ask for this. I did not choose this. And I damn sure don't enjoy this. It is not fun. It is not pleasant. It's not something I look forward to every day. Getting up at 5 in the morning, going to the gym, working out, going to work, working out after work, and then coming home, reading and doing research, taking notes, putting together a podcast at the recommendation of Capitol Police Intelligence. Jim and Dee Dee both said either write a book or start a podcast. So here I am making YouTube videos, not to mention reading every night, which I'm grateful. I love reading the Bible. Every time I read the Bible, I feel good. I feel whole. It makes me feel loved. And I am grateful for God's grace and mercy and strength to allow me to endure this evil that I've endured for 1,700 days and counting. I anticipate 25 years of this. If I'm going to be like the Einstein survivors, they have yet to get justice in 30 years. I am nearly 5 years into this process, so I anticipate 25 more years of this. Every day making videos. Every day. Because I will do this until. until. That's it. Until. There is no end. There's no, I'm going to get tired. No, don't care if I am tired. I keep going. I do it anyway. Tired, sick, mental health holds, under threat. I've had detectives threaten to kill me. I've had FBI agents assault me. Don't care. Don't care. That's what, when I signed up to follow Jesus Christ and I surrendered my life to Christ, I knew what I was signing up for. I was signing up to be persecuted, ridiculed, mocked, spit on, attacked, and possibly murdered. I signed up for that. I agreed to that. Those are the terms and conditions for following Jesus Christ. I understand that. And I submit to that. I surrender to Jesus Christ, no one else. And whatever it takes, whatever it takes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I ask for my son, for all of the children, anyone who has a heart, who has a conscience, who can express empathy or compassion, please like, share these videos. Please subscribe to this channel. And please help advocate to protect children. Because that's what this is all about. It's not about me. It's not about money. It's not about fame. This has nothing to do with any of that. This is about children being tortured, abused, raped, murdered, and sold in the United States of America by people we go to work and pay taxes to. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow.